Okay, Flirting with Realities, take two. My name's Eric. This is Carol Lee, and we tried to do this just a second ago, and the camera shut off. So we're gonna try it again.
I'm kind of sad because his introduction was so peaceful on that one.
It was peaceful.
It was so peaceful.
That one was peaceful, also. Though.
Yes, but I have to say it was magnified by like 20 compared to what you had done before that. You guys are gonna miss it. I'm sorry, but
I can be a peaceful guy sometimes.
I'm tired.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't really have anything great going on. Just talking about
why he's tired.
Why I'm tired, because I've started doing different exercise, and no big deal.
But I think it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's a great deal because it's a fresh take for me. It's a mixing up of life, which I think is always good.
So why don't you tell them what you started doing?
I started riding my bike. I used to ride my bike all the time. I think the most miles I put on my bike one year was I think I put 3,000 miles on my bike, 3,300 or something like that, which is a lot of riding for, because it's not 12 months. It's just the sunny months.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's people that do way more than that, but it's pretty good. I used to ride my bike all the time. I think that's my favorite exercise. But I've quit because I get down on the Pacific Northwest because we've got, like 3 months of good weather here, and then I'm not riding in the rain.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So I haven't been doing it. But I started riding the stationary. I got a stationary set up. And then I was like, the other day, I was like, why don't I just start riding? And so I started riding, and it's actually a great excuse that I come up with is I need to deliver the mail, which is kind of true. So it's a good thing because I feel like I'm doing something while getting exercise, which is always awesome.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. Can you imagine how would we feel if you had to ride your bike or walk everywhere you went?
You'd feel amazing.
It would be. It would be like super amazing because like I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm exercise riding my bike. I'd just be like, no, I had to go do something.
Yeah.
But what if you had to do that 2 or 3 times a day? It would be pretty awesome. I would love to not have a car and live in a place where I could just live with my bike only.
Denmark.
New York.
London.
I would love to live in New York, but I don't know what it looks like now after COVID. London, would you think you could totally ride a bike in London?
Yeah, depending where you lived. Yeah.
London's all about like walking everywhere, and
it's mostly about walking everywhere. You'd be biking in the street, not the sidewalk for sure there, because there's too many people on the sidewalks.
Yeah, you don't ride your bike on the sidewalk, Caroline.
Well, you can.
You can. You're right.
I just mean it's not like you're on a farm road, you're on the side of the road, or you riding in the middle of the road.
What am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
I ride on the side of the road.
That's what I meant. I don't think you'd be riding on the side of the road in London. I think you'd be in the road because they have small roads.
I'm fine with that.
You know what I mean? Like they don't have like wide roads like we do.
Yeah, I think a lot of places in Portland are like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So what else is going on?
Well, as I said on the other take one, it was a big day for me because for those of you who don't know, I've hurt my elbow about 5 months ago. I tore a tendon, but today was the first day I lifted weights, which was very lightweight, but I'm starting out slow.
But I mean, you weren't even able to just not do anything with your arm.
A few weeks ago, I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, so lifting any weight is like a big deal.
So it was 8 pounds, which
that's what you did today?
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah, so that was exciting. And We have our Amazon store up and running for all those people out there who want to check it out.
Yeah, we're selling wild yam cream, so anybody who has
Menopause, PMS,
all those guys out there that's got PMS problems.
or those guys who may have other problems, you could have wild yam cream.
Yeah.
It's not going to kill you. Actually, could maybe make you feel better.
Well, that's the interesting thing, right? Is like the whole thing about wild yam is interesting, super interesting, because it's kind of a little bit what we talk about. There's almost like some manifesting. There's almost like believing. There's a lot of like reality going into wild yam cream.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's what we talk about is wild yam cream has helped women.
Yeah,
for sure, right?
Yes.
Maybe it was placebo. Maybe it wasn't.
Yeah.
Maybe it's real. But that's the interesting thing about wild yam cream to me is, um, what is it? And does it actually work? But the thing is like, I think you could say it's placebo, and so it's only working on people in placebo fashion. But I think you could also make an argument that it works for everybody. It's just some people are so
Nocebo.
I don't know about that, but I think some people are just so disconnected with their body that it won't work because they're not aware of what's happening.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of that going on. So I don't know. It's just interesting, the wild yam cream, because it helps people and then it doesn't help people, and then like some people it even hurts. But it's like what's real about it. But it's one of those things that I think you found that there's no cure. We have no resolve, and there's all these women struggling, and I mean, dare say even just going crazy, right?
To that, yes. So I am going through menopause, or over the last year and a half, maybe. It took me a while to figure out what was happening. And yes, you feel like an alien. You're having hot flashes, night sweats. You can't sleep. There's mood swings. I would even say depression, except for me, I knew I wasn't depressed. I knew what was going on. So, I mean, depends on who you are, I guess, if you feel depression, but definitely you don't feel like yourself. So, yeah. I think if you can find a herbal remedy or something natural that helps you, like, it's amazing.
Well, but that's the funny part, right? Is how is there this significant, like whatever you want to call it, like problem, health problem, a significant health problem, but nobody really cares, right? Because they're like, oh well, boo hoo, like you don't feel like yourself.
I've been treated literally like the WW, like that lady said, like I'm a whiny woman. That's how everyone has treated me, especially, well, in the medical industry.
Well, but any woman out there that's listening to you is like, oh no, it can be serious. Like the pain. But any man who's gone without testosterone will have some sympathy too,
compassion and empathy.
Well, because that's where I was. Is I had testosterone issues, and still can, and it's you're not the same thing. You're not the same person.
Not even close.
Not even close. And it's like it's super interesting to like, man. I'm not saying there's any conspiracy theories, but there in men, I don't know about women, but in men, like their testosterone's going away quickly. Like it's happening in 20s, mid 20s, and 30s now. And for me, it was mid 30s.
No, women are having issues too.
What are their issues though? Is it just worse PMS, or?
I think it's a myriad. Like there's some
Just
women
hormone
who are
everything problems.
Yeah, depends who you are. Some of them are having low estrogen, some high.
Mm. Well, so it's interesting that, I mean, look what we're eating, look how we're not exercising, and then it's like, I mean, just your diet, right? Just your diet
Yeah.
is like sends your hormones. Woo, like we were talking about, like man boobs and
Boobs.
boobs, but we were talking about man boobs, and those are caused because you don't eat good, and you gain weight, and you're overweight, and then all of a sudden you have too much estrogen. Like overweight men have too much estrogen, and it's not fat boobs. They literally start growing boobs from estrogen, like women boobs.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, we gotta pull it together here.
I'll have to say too how important the diet is because you think I've been eating healthy this whole time
Yeah.
and I'm s- I was still having a myriad of symptoms. I have maintained my healthy lifestyle, but I mean, I think it even says how much more important it is to maintain that.
Yeah. Well, do you know what happens? Do you have any idea what happens to women that are overweight? Like, do they
In
have
menopause,
no, just in general, do they gain estrogen or lose estrogen,
I
or
think they lose estrogen.
because when a woman's overweight, it's pretty serious, right? Like a lot of them can't get pregnant and stuff, and they have all sorts of health issues.
Yeah.
It's such a huge cluster that we're in.
It is, and it's so sad that I mean, a lot of it is a lack of knowledge like we talk about. Like a few decades ago, we didn't know how to eat. I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah,
Like I was that person. I was eating very unhealthy from the grocery store. I was eating a lot of pasta or sandwiches. Uh, I mean, I didn't know any better.
yeah,
And I think another thing too is when you're eating that way, it's just it's a cluster of what it psychologically does to you and just makes you want more of it.
yeah,
Because I can honestly say, and I know I'm a weird person anyway when it comes to food, like I don't really eat a lot, but I don't have a lot of cravings for a lot of food that I used to have. Like of course used to want chips or something more often when I was eating spaghetti or tacos all the time. But I don't have those.
yeah. Well, it's interesting to see where we're going, and but that's what we're talking about with the wild yam cream. Is there's like women literally going crazy, and there's no fix.
And it's impacting their relationships. I
Oh
saw
yeah,
before I quit TikTok, um, I don't even the beginning of the year, sometime right before the beginning of the year, I saw a lady talking about how she was really psychotic with her son. He like came home late one night and she like lost her shit and like made a way bigger deal out of it than she normally would. And then he left the house and went and stayed with his girlfriend and she basically was like stalking him like a crazy person. And she started to realize what she was doing and she was talking about it openly but started to relate it to her menopause. Like she's a crazy person.
yeah.
I mean, that's an extreme thing to have to go through when it affects your relationship with your children, your husband.
So from where you're sitting, do you think women can get crazy because of their hormones?
Yes.
I didn't know if that was just like,
No, absolutely. As someone who had her period for 20 some odd years, yes.
it made you crazy.
Yes. I was absolutely not the same person.
I think that's insane because that's what I've seen too. Is like, I don't know that I would blame it on like PMS or whatever. It could very possibly be, but from being in relationships or whatever, or living with women. I don't even know if you blame it on the PMS, but they are just like, "Aroo!" They're all over the place. And like, oh my God, like you need to calm down.
I think just advice out there for men, you don't have to worry about this because I'm over, well, I didn't have it even anyway. I didn't have it anymore when we met. But one thing that men can pay attention to absolutely is knowing when their partner's cycle is. But I mean, being gracious to that, but also, there's your health and other things, like what kind of woo is this? And is it beyond the cycle time? Because there are people who are just crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's excuses. I was crazy, but I wasn't lashing out at people. So
I've just known more than one, like crazy as in like irrational. Like you're talking about this lady following around her son.
If you're one thing I would say to that too, like, is this happening once a week, like one time a month, or is it all the time? Because
well, but it could be. But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily have to be PMS. We live here in the Pacific Northwest, and a lot of people are vitamin D deficient, and there's a lot going on, and you kind of go out in public here, and it's like there's a lot of crazy women around here.
Yeah, but one thing I want to say to that is you can be having your own mental problems and you're not taking them out on other people.
Well, yeah, I mean that's somebody in a good space. Like that's part of being crazy is you're just crazy.
I wasn't in the best space when I was younger, and I did not lash out at anyone.
Well, I think that's rare, but I think it's interesting because that's kind of what to me that's like what a Pacific Northwest liberal woman is she's an angry person. All right, so we got cut off again. The phone ran out of storage, which is ridiculous because I deleted a bunch of videos and stuff, but I forgot to empty the trash, so the phone shut down. But while I'm talking about the phone shutting down, like I'm angry at Samsung, angry at Androids, because you used to, like, this was like just like a year ago, 2 years ago, you used to buy an Android, you used to buy a Samsung, and then you used to put your flash memory in there, whatever. You used to put your memory card in there, and that was one of the reasons I bought the phone, literally, because I don't buy into this Apple thing where it's got proprietary plugs and you have to have your storage in your phone. It's ridiculous. I could go on a whole entire rant about technology going backwards. How many instances is technology going backwards right now? Not having insertable memory into your phone is insanity. But the conspiracy theory that we came up with is it's because they don't want you to have your own memory. They want your information in the cloud. And how, that's totally plausible.
It is plausible.
Hey, let's take every picture you have, including your nudie pictures, and let's put them in my computer. How does that sound? And I'll keep it safe for you. Documents, all your Word documents, just give them to me. I'll put them in my computer. Videos, anything, everything. Put it, like, you think about that, like a picture of your face, like we're talking about facial recognition. If you put your stuff in the cloud, whoever wants it can have thousands, tens of thousands of pictures of your face and get facial recognition. They can get every part of your body, your legs, your arms, every part of it, what it all looks like. This is insane. All because they want to.
Because they can.
Because they can. But anyway, we were talking about just hormones, I guess.
Yeah, you were about to talk about vitamin D.
I was talking about vitamin D is You know, like I think there's like a significant amount of people are deficient in vitamin D, which is a huge hormone vitamin. It's a huge deal. Like it changes everything about you. But this is what you and I have talked about is you're not the same person without estrogen, testosterone, even vitamin D. The things you eat, like you can literally eat a meal and you feel like a different person right when you're done eating.
Yeah.
You know, it's so important, and that's why I think that's one of the biggest reasons you and I eat healthy is not we don't want to live forever. I mean, we do want to live forever, but that's not the biggest reason we eat the way we do. One of the biggest reasons we eat the way we do is because how we feel when we're done eating.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's a lot of short term benefits to eating good.
Yeah. I mean, my big thing, I hate being full.
You know,
Like I just can't I don't feel good for hours. It's almost like drinking and having a hangover to me. It's just
you know,
not worth it.
what's hilarious is I started going to therapy, and I was just like talking about overeating. What?
Nothing. I made a face.
Oh. We were talking about eating, and it wasn't like a big part of my therapy or anything, but I was just paying attention like how much I ate, and I was like, I didn't. I asked my therapist. I said, "How do you know when you're full? How do you know when you're full?" I'd never thought about that question in like 35 years of my life. I'm like, well, how do you know when you're full? But you know what that
Yeah.
means? Is that means I like severely overate every time I ever ate. I would just eat and eat and eat.
Did your mom make you finish what was on your plate?
There was a bit of that going on, but it was. I don't think that's the root of it. I think it's just. I think I like food. I think I like food, but there was also not paying attention to how gross you feel when you eat too much. Well, there's a lot of things like if you feel gross when you eat too much, but there's also like a point of like, what's the point of eating more? So you feel good in that 2 seconds while it's in your mouth.
That's a big thing that, people are trying to fill a feeling.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was about for me.
Yeah.
It was I loved food so much. Like I could still do that with like chips. You know, chips are just like just keep them coming because I enjoy
Yeah.
chips so much.
I get it. I don't have a problem with that anymore, but I mean, I don't think I ever have.
Well, you're lucky. But yeah, I did realize that I would much less want to have that gross I'm so full feeling than wow, this is amazing for 2 seconds while it's in my mouth.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to get there, and I still sometimes my thing too is like I like to like finish things,
Yeah, I know you do.
and so it's we went to Mod the other day, and I think I had like a half a piece left, and I'm like I just want to finish it, and I was like, well, why do I want to finish it? Because how cool would it be to have a half slice of pizza in the fridge when I want it? And I was like, why am I like? And I didn't stuff myself, but I ate half pizza more than I should have. So there's still a lot of realizing going on.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of a big deal that you put it in the box. You didn't finish it.
Well, sometimes I'm still in the system, and you got to stop and think, and you got to change your ways, and that's
Yeah, I mean, aren't we? I guess not all. I mean, there are people who are not. Deepak Chopra, maybe one of them. So I can't say aren't we all, but a lot of us are still in the system.
yeah.
Me and your mom were talking about that today a little bit, and I told her put that little sign by the bed that says "Remember," kind of to remind me that there's a system. that you can like easily fall back into if you're not careful.
Well, do you ever just go, yeah, I'm in the system, okay, you know,
Mm,
or do you always fight being in the system?
I don't feel like I'm fighting. I might just like notice a behavior and go, oh, whoa, I don't need to be doing this. It's not necessary.
But don't you, like for me, I feel like going out and working is just kind of being in the system all day.
It is, for sure. But I mean, you can zone out and get into a flow and get out of the system while you're working.
You don't think that's still part of the system?
No, I don't think a flow state is part of the system. If you're deeply in your head thinking while you're in that flow state, it's in the system. If you're in that gap of like, it's kind of like a bliss point where there's no thoughts in your head and you're just like enjoying what you're doing and it's like literally a flow. And it's kind of like running. I don't, running for me, like there was no thought. It was like complete bliss point.
Yeah, makes sense.
Are you fighting the system?
No, I embrace it sometimes. I embrace it a lot of times. It's just, I think it's, to me, it's really what we're here for. I think getting out is a privilege. Getting out at any percentage is like a privilege, and it's a glimpse into a different life. And so I just kind of embraced it. This is what I'm here doing. You know? And
I think acceptance of what is pretty important.
yeah, like that's kind of what it is. Well, so I guess that was what our talks was about today, right? It was a little bit of the hormones, a little bit of the eating, and what can change you. And
Being in the system.
it was funny because I was thinking about it today, and I was thinking about been making this green drink off our hydroponics for. I mean, we're probably a couple months deep now, right?
Oh, I would say so.
Maybe more than that, 3 months,
Yeah.
4 months.
Mm,
I mean, we've been doing this since a cold bath.
the green drink?
Yeah.
No, not that long.
Well, maybe green drinks at about 3 months or something.
Maybe 3 or 4, yeah.
But I was thinking about when I was making it today, and I was thinking about just how everything we do is to. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like I think a lot of people be like, why do you want to eat healthy, man? You're gonna like die someday anyway. You know, it's like that's not the point. It's not about living to 100. It's about tomorrow. It's about today. How
Yeah.
do I feel today? It's about setting yourself up to feel good every single day of your life as much as possible. Um,
You could have optimal clarity and like understanding and feeling optimized. Why? I mean, that's why I do. It's a almost enlightening feeling. You're like optimizing your whole life and how you feel.
well, yeah, I mean that's definitely like you and I look for anything that'll improve our lives, anything, and then we try to do it.
Yeah.
You know, we take all the low hanging fruit and we've eaten all that already, and then we're looking for like little. It's like what's his name, the cycling guy that they said cheated. What's his name?
Oh, Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong. Like he's taking off like the valve caps, which is like 1 gram, and
Yeah.
like you're looking for the smallest little things that you can do to make yourself better. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Like that analogy.
Well, but the thing that drives me crazy about the valve cover
Valve
is
stems,
valve stem
covers,
caps.
whatever.
The thing that drives me crazy is when you get some guy that rides his bike once a month and he's overweight and he doesn't exercise at all, and then he takes his valve stem caps off. And it's like, whoa, 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 buddy. Like, listen, just leave the valve stem cap on because it's not helping you. You're not the guy that needs that. Does that mean?
A little.
Why?
Because who cares? Just let them take them off.
No, because it's like this messed up logic that these people have.
So what?
I'm okay, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying it's like there are way bigger things that for you to deal with.
Yeah, but they'll figure it out or they won't.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just funny because I've watched people do this different things like that, not the cycling thing, but different things like that where it's like I'm just saying that's all I'm saying is you don't need to take the valve stem caps off. It does absolutely nothing for you. You have to be at such a high level to worry about something like that.
What if someone said to us, "Don't bother with the green drink because there's something we don't know"?
I think you act like a enlightened person. You say, "Well, help me. Like, what else is there?" But at the same time, like, I think there's no reason to get offended because if somebody came up to me and they're like, "Did you take your valve stem caps off?" I'd be like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Listen, like, no, I know my place. I leave my valve stem caps on because I'm not the guy. Like, I don't have a cycling body."
But this may not be related to that. It could just be like they think it's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I've just dealt with a lot of like hobbies and stuff where people are like fine tuning this and this.
Yeah.
You know, like where I used to make remote control cars and people would like fine tune this or this and you'd be like, what do you think about just driving your car regularly? Like that's a way bigger deal than putting like aluminum hardware in versus like steel hardware. You know, but if you're at the top of your game, you need to start looking for these things that you can pick apart. But if you got to start at the bottom first.
Yeah, but I'll be like vulnerable here and say like when I first started my journey of looking inward, I didn't know how to like analyze that sort of stuff.
Really?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not a huge hobby person. I don't have a lot of hobbies. But I could have maybe bought a pair of running shoes that weren't appropriate for the type of running that I did.
That's not the same. This is like I'm saying, like Amazon right now. If we were to take our labels and we were like, let's make the edges where we fill it up. Let's make like a line, and then like let's pat the cream down. Like we have bigger fish to fry. You know what I mean? Like we have more things to figure out. You know, maybe we'll deal with our pricing or the jar size, or like maybe we need to change the way the label looks. Like there's bigger things to deal with first. And I think to me it seems obvious. You just don't start nitpicking when you have bigger issues to deal with.
Yeah, I don't think everybody is there.
No, yeah, for sure. The cycling thing's so easy to pick on though, because like I'm not trying to be mean, but it's a good example of how people don't have their priorities right.
Yeah, but they're out riding.
Yeah.
Sweet. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, but I mean, I think some people just don't see it that way.
Yeah. You know, the other interesting thing about cycling is how it's like a lot of things where there's like a uniform you have to wear. And it's like you get shunned if you don't wear a uniform.
You get shunned?
Oh yeah. Like if you're like into cycling and you don't latex or it's not latex. Spandex. If you don't like spandex up, helmet, and then you gotta have like the blade, like glasses, you know, and then you gotta have the gloves, and like everything's gotta be cycling proper. Especially the helmet thing. Like I can't tell you how many people have yelled at me.
I don't know if you know this about me. You can't really shame me.
Oh, but you can try.
Oh yeah, but
And that's
it's
what they
not going
do.
to work. I don't conform to people shaming people. It's just,
Well, obviously I don't either because I don't wear spandex.
yeah.
I don't wear a helmet.
I'm just
I don't do
talking to
any of
all
that
those
stuff.
people out there who feel shamed by these things. They shouldn't. I mean, I'm all for individuality, and I think it's way more fucking attractive than,
But this is like the thing we ran into with COVID. You and I are the only ones out there not wearing masks around here.
yeah.
Like all of. But that's basically me on a bicycle. I am the only guy out there on that type of bike without a helmet and without full spandex and no gloves. You know what I mean? And like even I was thinking about my seat. The way I run my seat is nobody in the whole world would agree with me. And my theory on the seat is what most cyclists do is they wear the spandex shorts with a padded butt, right? And then they use this like super thin cycling seat that's harder than hell.
Hmm.
And I tried that for a while, and it's like when you sit down on your seat, like I don't know if you can understand this, but like when you're on a bike for a long time, you have to be comfortable. And when you have like a bunch of padding in your pants and you sit on the seat and it like kind of bunches a little bit this way and you got to like try and move it and now your butt's on the wrong spot on the seat and you're like constantly moving and then TMI, but like like scrunching your balls and like it's just like it's a mess. And so what I figured out is I just do like shorts that don't have any padding at all, and then I go with a softer seat. And I'm like, why doesn't everybody do this? Because my seat doesn't move, the padding, and it's like
Well,
it's
I
like,
think that's kind of like what you were talking about with what people with valve stems or with spandex, and like
yeah,
it's just a look, and I mean, come on, I mean, some of these things these women are doing with these eyelashes and nails
that's exactly what I'm talking
don't
about.
look comfortable. Like I'm like, can you see through those things?
That's exactly what I'm trying to get to.
And I'm
Is
not trying to offend anyone, but
exactly what I'm getting to is that's the system. That is the definition of the system. Is when people are like, I think I'll go ride my bike. Well, I better buy spandex and a helmet and better buy all this stuff and do exactly what people say. It's like going to a hockey game. Like I would just go to a hockey game, but I think other people would be like, I'm going to a hockey game. Shit, I don't own a jersey, and then they'd like have to go buy
Jersey,
a jersey to wear to a hockey game.
yeah.
You have like there's outfits you have to wear when you do certain things as a human being. You go to a basketball game, you got to wear a jersey. Hockey game, you got to wear a jersey. Like cycling, you got to wear spandex. Like yoga, you just couldn't show up in like as a woman, you can't just show up in shorts and a tank top. You got to wear Lululemon legging. Like there's like an outfit that is like required of everybody. You can't just do what you want to do.
But you can.
Well, you can, but you could also not wear a mask during COVID.
Yeah.
But then you're going to be risked being shamed, and so let's not do that.
What I would like to like suggest to people is like shaming doesn't have to be a real thing. Right? Let me give the analogy of let's say you love rainy days and I don't love rainy days, right? So when it rains, I'm not really happy, but you're like, "Woo!" It's the same rainy day, right? So it's the same thing to me with shaming. Like you can be someone who like allows people, well, basically you could be a victim of being shamed, or you can be empowered by, you know what? I just don't give a fuck what you think or what the system is doing. This is the only life you have to live. Let it be yours. Think about that. Like, fuck some system, fuck all these people. Live your life the way you want to live it, which it sounds like you're doing a good
Well, I've I've always been the person that I can't stand being like other people. Can't stand it. If the only way I could ride my bike was fully spandexed up with the helmet, like I wouldn't ride my bike. In fact, if you told me I cannot ride my bike without a helmet, I'd be like, well, I guess I'll just sell my bike because I don't understand the helmet thing. I don't want to wear a helmet. It's not my thing. It's not comfortable. I don't care. But it's like I've always, and in fact, it hurts me more than it helps me. I just don't like being like other people. I cannot stand. I can't stand going with the flow. Can't stand. But it's like I get a lot of criticism and a lot of shit because this is what you and I have talked about. A lot of people when they watch you not doing what they're doing, like that's what I'm saying. If I don't wear a helmet on my bike, there's people like, "Where's your helmet?" And it's like, well, what fucking business is it of yours? Like, why are you concerned about me? They're concerned about me because they're like, well, if I have to, you have to. It's like if I'm like following what everybody else does, then why aren't you? Like, this doesn't mean we can all just do what we want. And so there's like this weird thing. But that's what, again, this is what we're talking about COVID, right? Where's your mask? Why don't you worry about your fucking self? And that's where we got caught into like, is the mask helping you or me? And we could never figure that out. Like, that's never been resolved, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah, it's bizarre. I just think we all should be allowed, as long as you're not hurting somebody, what does it matter?
Yeah. Well, but then that's when they try to make up that you're hurting somebody. But then it like goes around in
Well,
circles about the logic doesn't.
yeah, let's get real about that. Nobody's getting hurt over like me not having eyelashes, fake extension eyelashes, or I forget, was I talking to someone or I heard a girl talking about how she was shamed for not having nails at
Really?
work? That's horrible. I don't even I can't even imagine shaming someone for choosing to have natural nails, which is me, by the way. I like so just don't. I mean, not that I've never had a pedicure or a manicure and enjoyed it, but it's just not a regular thing. But yeah, it's okay to be different, and shaming doesn't have to be real.
Yeah. I mean, I think the funny thing is if you look around, the people who are shaming and wanting you to be like everybody else, you got to look at those people. Do you want to be friends with those people? The answer is 99.9% no. Those people are like they're the worst.
I've talked to you about Abraham Hicks, but she'll do this bit where she's like, what would you think if someone called you and was like, I never want to talk to you again? You're like, I never want to speak to you again. And you didn't even know who they were. You'd be like, okay, click. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just wouldn't matter. You'd just be like, okay, have a good one.
Well, but that's a bit like being in your car and flipping somebody off because you feel safe. Being on the phone, you're like can't see them. You're like, I don't. Okay, bye. But there's something weird about being face to face in front of somebody where you care about them more. Anyway.
Practice not caring, because I think living your life how you want to live it, like you are, like I am, like we're trying to, is like you only get to do this once. And other people shouldn't have any say at all. And I mean no one. My mom, my dad, my kids, your mom, like nobody should have a say how you want to live your life.
But that's really who we're dealing with is the most insecure people there are. They're the ones pushing back on you to not be who you are because they're concerned about what they look like because of what you look like, right?
It's true. And I was thinking about that right when I said my kids, your kids. I think my kids wouldn't dream of being like, what the fuck are you doing, mom? I wouldn't dream of doing that to them. You need spandex if you're going to do this, mom. It's a crazy thought, but yes, as you were just saying.
Yeah, it's kind of like the small percentage of the world is what you as your view. It's easy to like have input from one person, which they could just be the 1% assholes, and then all of a sudden you think like a lot of people are thinking that way, which isn't true.
I just live in my own world where I don't care what other people are thinking or really even think about it.
Yeah,
It's a pleasant place to be.
yeah. I'm learning to be like you.
I think you're a lot like that.
I get very sensitive to when people criticize me.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, like, I get sensitive to when people criticize me, but I don't change.
Well,
I just get mad at them.
I mean, it's not nice to criticize people.
But I think that's where most people are different. Is I think if people want to be different, then they don't say wear a bicycle helmet. And then somebody's like, "Where's your helmet?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." And they're like, "I'm just gonna wear this helmet so nobody bothers me."
I think the thing that I've discovered about any sort of criticism is it's coming from someone who is living in their own system and they don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, because I mean, think about what would it take for you,
To criticize people,
yeah, to say like, "Where's your bicycle helmet?" It could be like, "Whoa."
it's not even in my,
Yeah,
it's not even a thing
yeah,
at all.
yeah.
Now, if you are riding erratically on your bicycle and you almost like harm me, then, if I almost get harmed because of something you're doing, like, and I have to jump out of the way, that's something, but I still wouldn't be criticizing people.
But I think even that is not like this. This is it's weird that you brought that up, and I had this thought at the same time. But I think I was thinking about that today, where I'm riding my bike and people get pretty close to me, and I think a lot of people get extra close because they're making a point.
Oh, yeah, I think people do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't think bikes should be on roads,
Yeah,
and so I was thinking like, you do.
I don't like it.
Um, but I was thinking like some of these guys, these big trucks, they have the huge mirrors that stick out, and I'm like, you could take that on the shoulder or something. And this one guy got close to me, and I was like, damn. And I was thinking like, well, what would I do if he hit me with his mirror? Just hit me in the shoulder, like.
Well, there's nothing you can do. If he's in a car and you're on a bike.
Well, I mean, but like, and he pulled over and he's like, did I hit you or whatever? Like, I don't even think I'd be that upset. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like, I just whatever, just go there. Like, unless I'm like on the ground bleeding and like got a concussion and now we got a problem.
Yeah,
But like, I'm
I
not even
know.
gonna get mad at you because you're a dumbass.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Why get mad?
Well, I get mad. What's your issue with bikes on the roads?
I just don't like it.
Why?
Well, usually there's like a group of you guys together, and like one of them's here, and one of them's here, and one of them's here, and you have to go around. I think bikes should just be on a sidewalk somewhere. That's probably why I said that earlier. It's psychological.
Yeah, but
Or you ride on the white line or over.
well, yeah, ideally there's just a bike lane.
Yeah, ideally.
But do you know why they call it a sidewalk?
So you can walk on
So you
it.
can walk on it. It's not called a side
Yeah,
ride.
but I'm from Alaska, and it was literally the only place you could ride your bike, um, especially in the winter. You can't ride it in the snowy street. You had to ride it in the sidewalk.
I don't know. The problem is the sidewalks is it causes so many problems.
Well, yeah, but another thing too is you have to think about when I was growing up, there were no bike lanes. That wasn't a thing. But I guess people didn't really ride their bikes that often.
I've always wondered, like, I think if you get concerned about a cyclist being on the road and it takes you like 10 seconds to go around them, it's just like, I mean,
It's not just going around. There's a lot of things. It's just not my favorite thing.
I think it's an example of how we have to coexist with each other,
Yeah,
you know, and
I don't get mad.
well, and I got the bad news is it's legal to ride your bike on the road. So,
It's not bad news.
well, I'm just saying, it's like, if you don't like it,
There's a lot of legal things that I don't like.
yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm tired.
Yeah, this was pretty long for being tired.
I'm gonna have to splice these videos together, which is gonna take a long time. All right.
Horrible.
So anyway, I think this is episode 49, right?
Yep.
Okay, so number 50 next week.
Big 50.
Okay.
Exciting.
Thanks for watching.
You.